Bava Metzia, we're in Daf Hey Amud Aleph. We already did the end of the page, but let's revise and review. Welcome back to participants who were away and are back with us again. Yeah. Ahu Raya, 2 dots. Ahu Raya. Shh. We're being recorded. People. Ahu Raya. There was a ro'eh. There was a shepherd. Every day, the townspeople, he would like a shepherd would be a babysitter, a sheep sitter for more than one person. And they would actually give him every morning, they would give him the animals with Adim. They did not rely on him. And therefore, one time, and every day they would give him the animals under the watchful eyes of the witnesses. They would see that he gets the animals and he cannot deny getting them. Yomi Echad, one day, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 or so lines from bottom of the page. Hey Amud Aleph. Yeah. Yomi Echad, one day, they committed the grave error of giving him the animals with no Adim. Why is it relevant that they gave him the Adim without Adim? That I'm not discussing now. We may, if we have time, we may discuss at the end of the year. Lamaisa, one day there was a flop, they flunked, and they gave him without Adim. Lesoif Amalu. At the end of the day, he told them, let's say he's facing one person. Let's ignore the other people. Roye stands against Reuven and tells Reuven, you say that this morning you gave me sheep? No, wait, Jose, you never gave me any sheep today. Today was my day off. Don't you know it's Ben Azmanim soon? So I took the Roim's Ben Azmanim, and today I did not take any of your sheep. Punto. Also Sahadi came Adim, Asidu Bey, and they testified that the Ochal Tauti Minayu, that he ate 2 out of the sheep. Let's say Reuven claims that he gave him, 10 sheep, and now he says, no, 0 sheep. You gave me 0, absolutely nothing, nada, null. You gave me nothing, says the Roya. And 2 Adim come and say, we testified under shevua, we know 100%, we're made in Beis Din, the Mr. Roya ate 2 of the sheep. You tell me, did we speak about such a case of one person denying everything, and then Adim are made that he ate some of it and he lied about some of it? Obviously, yes. Why? Because this is a case of Rav Chia. That's the first case of Rav Chia, the first din of Rav Chia. Rav Chia Kamaisa. And what did Rav Chia say you have to do? It's a kol shekain from Eid Echad and from Eid Miktsas that he has to take about the rest of the sheep. You claim that the rest of the sheep were never given to you. Now you have to take a shevua. Similar to Eid Miktsas, Eidim on Miktsas also make you take shevua on what you deny. And that's exactly what Reb Zera says, what I just said. Reb Zera, says Reb Zera. Im Isa, if we believe, if it's true that the Reb Chia Kamaisa, if the halacha of the first Rav Chia, meaning the first statement of Rav Chia, that on Eidim, if Eidim are made on some, then on the rest you have to take shvua. Mishtaba Ashara, he has to take shvua on the rest. Yeah, he's taking shvua on the rest of it. Amala Abaye says Abaye, no. Are you sure in what you're saying? Mapitom im Isa Mishtaba. Are you sure that what you're saying is right? That if really we have the halacha of Rav Chia Kamaita, then he has to take shvua. That Gazlan who? The guy is a Gazlan, is a for sure Gazlan, which means over here there are 2 Eidim who said, we are hereby testifying under oath, open Sefer Torah. These are 2 good people who we tested and we grilled over. And they said that, let's say there are 10, however many sheep in question, 2 of those sheep, Blackie and Becky, we saw that he ate them. We saw that he shechted and ate them. And he's lying through his teeth saying he never even got them. He was caught red-handed shen kamayu. This person is a for sure Gazlan. Such a person cannot take shvua, because we say that a person who's a Gazlan, so we assume at least at this point, a person who's a for sure Gazlan cannot take shvua because he's not believed anymore. You may ask a question, wait a second, didn't Rav Chia say that the person who is denying half is really, and Eidim said that he really does owe him, Rav Chia said that he does take a shvua. So something is confusing here, because in the case of Rav Chia, what happens? He does take a shvua, even though Eidim testified against him. The answer is very, very simple. You can look in Rashi inside. You don't have to look in Rashi inside. You can see Rashi 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the fifth wide line. Gazlanhu says Rashi, as I told you 1,000 times. Sorry, there's a difference between milva and pikodon. If a person says, I didn't borrow anything, right? And the Edim said, out of the 200 claimed, you borrowed for sure at least 100, he may be a lie, but he's not a thief. Why isn't he a thief? Milva is meant to be spent. He did not yet get the money. He did not recuperate the money yet. So what's he doing? It's called in English, to buy time. He's still buying time. He's still fidgeting. So he's not the most honest guy in the world. No shidduch for my daughter. But definitely he's not mamsh an outright liar. Why? Because he's trying to buy time and he says, oh, I'll admit some now, some later, like a regular Moedim Miktsas. Because milva, it's not a crime that he used up the money and he's waiting for new money to come and recuperate coming back in. That is of itself is not so bad. But this guy, what will you say about him? He ate the animals that he's supposed to look after. There's zero justification about that. Inami continues Rashi, but pikodoin shelosholach boyad ve'ovad mimenu epikodoin. Let's say epikodoin. Let's say even in the case of Rav Chia, let's say I said you owe me 200 that I deposited by you, and you lie. That's a terrible lie. It's a pikodoin. There too, we could say ovad mimenu. He lost it. He's still fidgeting. He's dodging away. He wants to look for the 200. So he says, I don't owe you anything, because he quickly wants to now search his entire house and the garage and the machsan and everything and his office to look for the 200. He wants to buy time. So those cases of Rabbi Chia are somewhat justifiable. And there we say he's not a for sure liar. He's maybe a liar. And therefore what? He will take a shevua. But this guy, the royal, is a liar. No other way. He ate the sheep. Boom. It's in his tummy. What's going on over here? Yeah. He eats a lot of meat. He's in a no carbs diet. Answers the Gemara. Omerle. Answers the Gemara. No. Shekenegdoi kamina. Shekenegdoi kamina. Which means what? Shekenegdoi kamina. What does it mean? As we said, it's a Gemara in Shavuos. Yeah. Around that mem something over there. Mem daled mem hey. There are 5 types of people. If they're not reliable, let's say you in Beis Din and the person that's supposed to I said supposed to lie. The person supposed to be nishba is a very dodgy person. What do? You do hipuch shevua. The shevua now goes back on you, and you take the shevua and you exert the money out of him. Extract, I mean to say, yeah, the money out of him. You retrieve, I meant to say, the money out of him. Yeah, I claim that Chaim Yankel owes me 2,000, and I have an eid echod, or Chaim Yankel admits 1,000. Chaim Yankel has a long history of being a gambler and not an honest person and not a good person and a liar. So what do? Instead of him nishba and keep the money, I'll be nishba, the plaintiff, I'll be nishba, and I'll take the money from him. That's always the rule over there in Shavuos, and that's what we're going to say over here. The roy is not reliable, but the balabais will take shvua on the rest that he gave him other sheep, and he'll take the sheep from him. Very nice. Frek the Gemara, ashtanami the leisel de b'chia. Frek the Gemara. Even now, let's say leisel de b'chia. Let's say we don't believe Rav Chia's first statement of what? That edim are made on some, you take shvua on the rest. Even without that, nechayve mit Rav Nachman. For the first time, it's a big celebration in honor of the new people of the Talmidim who came back. Now we're going to see the famous halacha of Rav Nachman, which we haven't seen before. What did Rav Nachman say? Let us be mechayvim shvua because of Rav Nachman. That's none. Mani li biyodcha, ein lecha biyodi, potur. We always learned, if I say mani li biyodcha, I say it's your first day back, and I already tell Shlomo, you owe me $100. And Shlomo says, En lecha biyodi. I'm sorry, shtiyot, nonsense, la'adam. Never owe you any 100. Midoraisa, potu. Of course, potu. Why? I don't have any claims. Yeah, it's not a dechod. It's not moedim miktsas. And he can tell me, go home. Yeah, because there's no reglaim ledovo, no basis to my kaina. Moetzim chavel levaraya. However, Vomer of Nachman came Rav Nachman with the famous line, Midarabonon, I repeat, Midarabonon, Mashbin Oisha Shvuas Heses. Shvuas Heses, that's a famous one. A Shvuah Darabonon, which was only established according to Machlokes Hashonim. Some Rishonim say this Shvuah was only established in the times of the Amoyroim. Some say there's basis from the Tanoim, some say Amoyroim, which means it's a very late Takono. Amoyroim saw that people are less honest than they used to be. Yeridas Hadoros. And therefore, they said like this. Usually, when a person comes and claims money against his friend, ein odem tovea ela im ken yesh lo beyodo. You can see it at the end of Rashi. Chazaka, usually if I come to a person and I say, you owe me money, unless I'm, mentally challenged or a very big chakra and ramai, a regular, normal guy, run of the mill, who comes and has a claim against his friend, usually there's something to it. That's begadol the idea. We're not going down to the depth of it. But Lamaisa, Rabbanan established a shevua that even if a person claims zero, you owe me nothing. There's no idechod, no medemiktsas. There's a thing called shvuas heses. The Rashi says heses is, look at the Rashi, the one before the end, shvua she'esitoi chachomim lekach lahasitoi lehoidos. Lahasit, is like mesis umediach, to move his heart, to try and convince him. In other words, if the person is really not guilty, why shouldn't you take a shvua? If you don't take a shvua, we're trying to encourage you to sort of lahasit, to convince you to be moida that you owe something. If you really don't know anything and the guy is talking nonsense, the you don't know anything and you take a shvua and nothing happened. So now, if so, frag the Gemara, Mimela the Gemara wants to say like this. This Roya, what are you telling me? He has to take shvua. The Roya here claims nothing, right? The Roya claims, I ain't done nothing, didn't take anything, was my day off. I don't have any of your what's the names, any of your sheep. Says the Gemara, take Rav Chia out of the story. Even if he wasn't found out with the two, with these two sheep eating them. Lamaisa, anyways, he has to take shvua because shvua says this. With the Rabbanan, we establish a whole new thing. A person who denies everything, then he does have to take shvua. So anyhow, this is a real life story. This is an actual story that happened. How did they actually let him get off the hook, if not for Rav Chia, off the hook without shvua? He's denying everything. Rav Nachman says he does have to take shvua. Answers the Gemara, no. The Rav Nachman takantahi. Rav Nachman is a Rabbanon. Midoraisa, says Rashi, lo yirami shvua alei. He doesn't have to take shvua. It's a Rabbanon establishment. The takanta lo yavdinan. This Roye, can he take shvua? Well, if he ate the two sheep, right, then he doesn't. Then he's a liar for sure. Now, let's say case closed regarding these two. The other sheep, you want to say, is still kofer bakol. He ate those sheep, he has to pay them for sure. They ate him against him. Now we wanted to say, hey, hold it, wait a second. Why are you talking about Reb Chia? Even if you view the other sheep as a new case, the other 8 sheep that are still in question mark, he says nothing, right? And the Bava says everything. Then even forget about Moedim Miktsas and Heilach and all that. Just leave it aside. The guy's kofer bakol, okay, but the Rabbanan is chayav shevua. But can he actually take shevua? No, because we know that he lied. Forget about everything else. The guy ate the 2 sheep in the presence of 2 Eidim, and he said that he didn't. The guy is a liar, Gazlan. As much as we twist our minds to be Reb Sro Salanter and Rabbi Levine, as much as we want to be Dan Lekav's Chus, the guy is a liar. So if he's a liar, what are you telling me? He would not take shevua. What would be the case? Would reverse the shvua, and the balabais would take shvua, right? Haifich the shvua. Says the Gemara, "V'takanta letakanta lo yavdinan." We don't make a takana for a takana. That's it. Which means, since the shvua is the rabbanon to begin with, shvua says the guy who denies everything is only the rabbanon. The concept of flipping the shvua, of swapping the shvua the wrong direction, that get the arrow the wrong way around. That's also the Rabbanon Dikatakano. As everybody here knows, to the Rabbanons, we don't always say, had it been Shvua Doraisa, like Shvuas Eid Echod, or Shvuas Miktsas, then we apply the Takana the Rabbanon, flip it over to the right guy. But since this whole Shvuas the Rabbanon, if I say, I owe you nothing, and what? Yeah, there were 2 sheep and I ate them. The other, I never got, and it sounds very sincere. Bidoraisa, no Shvua. Only with the Rabbanon, no. On Rabbanon, we don't establish one Rabbanon on top of the other, the whole big building the Rabbanon we don't do, and therefore he does not have to take shevua. Doesn't have to take shevua. And what's going to happen with him? If we believe Rav Chia Kamaisa, then yes, then it's Doraisa. If we follow Rav Chia of Eidim B'Miktsas, it's Shvua Doraisa. Then the Balabais will take the shevua, and the Balabais will take back the 8 sheep that are in question. As long as you don't have Rav Chia, you only rely on the Rabbanon. No. Rabbanon, we don't establish a flipping the shvua on the other side in a shvua it's the Rabbanon to begin with, because two the Rabbanon we don't say. We don't always say, but many times we don't. So far, so good. Yeah, fine. We now started Amud question. I'm impressed with everyone's memory from previous Masechtas. Frag the Gemara, what everyone here is asking. Top line of where we Amud Beis, right? The tepukle means come from the back door, come from another reason. Why do you have to tell me the whole story? That he's a Gazlan because it's a dramatic story, because the Eidim saw him eating. He is a Roye by profession. Of you, that Stam Roye Posul. A Roye is assumed to be Posul, the Eidus, and the Shvua. Roy, I'm sorry, Abecheskas Dezlonim. We saw it in Bavakama, Sanhedrin, we saw it in other Masechtas. Unfortunately, Roim are disqualified. They're not believed people because they tend to steal. Not nice to label, not to generalize, not nice, not nice. We're not in a woke right now. This is a Metzia, the Roim, 99% are Ganovim. We can't rely on them. So anyhow, we can't take Shvua, regardless of this particular guy who's a super duper Gazlan. Answers the Gemara Loi Kasha. No, it's not difficult. Why? Hodidei, hode alma. Big difference, which means if the Roya, the Roya has lahavdil, like a care, how do you call it in English? Metapelet, a childminder, like a ganenet, a child carer. Yeah, so she takes kids to her house in Israel. She has 10 children and she has her own child, right? So now, Hodidei, the Roya also has his own sheep that he shepherds, that he takes care of, and he also, for money, takes other people's sheep as well. Hodidei, his own animals, if he ran out of food in his own field, he has his own field. If he ran out of of his own field's produce, eventually he wants to feed his own kinderlach, his own shefzalach. Then what? He goes to other people's fields. For my own sheep, I have to take care of my family and my sheep. So for his own self, he steals from others and he lets them graze in other people's fields. The alma. But when it comes to other people's animals, of course, he also feeds. He wants the customer to be happy, the client. However, if he runs out of his own grazing area, he doesn't steal from others. I don't know what he does, but he doesn't steal in order to benefit other people's animals. He gives them, up to a certain amount he has. But if unless he's maybe really stuck, normally he does not choose to steal for other people's animals. Why? Says the halacha, and it applies also in Shabbos in many places. A person usually doesn't sin unless he has a real gain. A person does not sin for others. I usually wouldn't steal for another person unless I have real gain here. He's not gaining anything. They're paying anyways, and he has enough for his own food, the roya, to feed the basics. To go out of my way to Dafka be a chacham and go to another people's field, for Levi's field, in order to field Reuven's graze? No, Reuven's sheep. Why? Why should I risk myself and start doing an avera in order to feed another person's animal? Yeah, a person who's Mechalel Shabbos and is frum. Mechal Shabbos for himself, maybe sometimes when nobody thinks nobody sees, is Mechal Shabbos. Mechal Shabbos for another person without getting paid, mapitom. I should sin for somebody else? No. The Chazal psychology tells us no. And therefore the roya depends on the roya. Oh, to Mimele, a roya over here who actually does not feed his own animals. He was the sheep sitter, the roya of other people. Such a person, Davka, is not always known to be a ganav. He's not so, diligent and so going out of his way to ad kedekach go to other fields for better grazing area to steal from others to feed other animals of other people. Such a person is, funnily enough, more ne'eman, more relied, and he's not always assumed to be a ganav, except for who's the one whom we don't believe. That's the guy who shepherds his own animals. He has his own thing, doesn't do for other people. He has his own interest. He wants his animals to be fat and be super fed to no end. He finishes with his own field. He goes to Levi, Shimon, Yehuda, and everybody. Because if you don't say that, if you don't differentiate and you don't believe in Roim, if you don't believe in the nation of Roim, in them that sometimes are honest, Anan as how do we give our own animals to the Roya? Right? Everybody came here this morning. Where did you leave your sheep? By the Roya, of course. Yeah. So how do you leave your sheep by the Roya? How do you give it to him? Because if you know that your roya will be feeding your sheep and your cows through other people's money, so you're basically giving him michshol, a stumbling stone, and you're not allowed to make another yid sin because you know he's going to sin, right? So mimela, how do you do that? Ela chazaka and odom choyte v'loy loy. As we said, it's chazaka. A person does not sin unless it is for his own good. And that's therefore only the shepherd's own animals, he is choshu to go to other places. Weiter. Now we have another quote from the Mishnah. Ze yishova she'en lo b'pochas mechetzia. Yeah. What is Ze yishova? The lotion is very interesting. The shevua. Why do the two people who hold hands, they don't hold hands with each other actually, they're not so friendly. They hold hands with a garment. Yeah. Reuben holds the garment for dear life, and Shimon holds the garment on the other side, the other corner for dear life. Each one screaming, Kula Shali, it's all mine. Okay, very nice. So now, what do we say? Don't split it. First, what do? You have to take shevua. What's the text of the shevua? Each one has to swear that he doesn't have in it less than half. Interesting notion, yeah? And then they split. Why do they have to take the shevua? Anyone wants to refresh my memory? Why taking a shevua? It's chazaka. Chazaka is like edim. Each one has two hands, which are like two edim. Why do they have to take a shevua? We saw before. We saw two reasons, and we're going to see them again later on. First of all, the Gemara wants to inquire and find out why do we make them take such a funny, interesting text of Lashon of Shevua, that it doesn't have in it less than half. Correct the Gemara. Al the Isle Mishtaba, or the Leisle Mishtaba. Is the Nishba on what he has, or is the Nishba on what he doesn't have? That's the question. Yeah, which means I recommend we look, I'll say it Balpeh and then we'll see Rashi. Yes, let's just make an introduction. What's the whole idea of shevua? To scare him off exactly. And if he knows that he's lying, many people would lie. He's not a thief yet. Yeah, maybe he's lying. Maybe two of them took it together, we said, and they don't realize. In case he knows he's a liar, many liars would lie, but would not take a shevua. Ooh, that's a different story. Yeah, the shevua with an open Sefer Torah, that's all different ball game. So we want to scare him off. Let's say you're a liar, yeah, and you're a very good professional liar, and you don't want to do a shevua shav. What would you do? You know what I would do? I would do it like this. I would make my own text, which is I would ask a lawyer or a Torah Rabbani, how can I actually phrase my words such that include my kavana and also a piece Beis Din, right? Yeah, okay, something like that. So now look at the lashon. Frag the Gemara. Al the Islam mishtaba, al the Leislam mishtaba. Is the nishba on what he has, or nishba on what he doesn't have? Which means, let's say that person knows that he really is not the right guy. He knows that he is wrong. He knows that he's a liar, and he knows that the first guy grabbed it first, and it was koina, and then he came second. How much does he own in it? 0. The guy says, I'm nishba she'en li ba pochas mechetzia. I swear I don't have in it less than half. What does it mean? What's in his mind? This guy knows that there's something between half and a 0. It's called fractions, a third, a quarter, an eighth, 1/16. I'm nishba, I don't have in it less than half. Meaning I have in it something, but not less than half, which is what? Quarter or third. But I have 0. That's what he thinks. And in his own mind, he's tricking the system. I have in it, I don't, again, al the isle, al the leisle, which means we assume that he thinks I have, and I have in it no less than half. So you're making a face because you think I have in it no less than half means half. No, he thinks I really don't have anything. I'm nishba, I don't have in it less than half. I don't have in it a quarter or a third or an eighth or 1/16 or 0.75, but I don't have anything. Yeah. You're such an honest guy. Oh, beautiful. So tamima, so beautiful. At the age of, love you. In other words, but think about it. A real professional liar would say, Ein li ba pochas mechetzia. I swear I don't have in it a third or a quarter or an eighth. How much do I have? 0. Chachamim didn't tackle that. Says this guy's yitzhar in his own mind. So this guy, if he says Ein li ba pochas mechetzia, he means to say I don't have in it a smaller fraction, smaller than half. Real, don't have anything. That's what he thinks. So Mele, this text is not good for him. For Mr. Professional Liar, that text is still a loophole. There's a leeway. So Mele, the Gemara is not happy. Not happy with that. Answers the Gemara. Yeah, better. Are you good? Are you happy with me? Yeah. No. What? Yes. Again, I knew you were going to say that, so I answered that. I read your mind. 0 is less than half, but he thinks lesley, I don't have in it less than half, meaning I have. Chachamim, these big rabbis who think they're smart, those 3 rabbonim over there, says the guy, they make me nishba, I don't have in it less than half. Meaning they assume I have something, and they assume my chelek, they assume I'm a partner, I'm a shareholder in the talis, and I don't even need less than half. Well, I don't have anything. So it's true I don't have less than half. Yeah?
The other person owns the other half. He knows he owns this half.
They both were the same. They both were the same because we don't know who's right. You fall into the same trap, I'm sorry. We don't know who's right, who's wrong. We don't have a CCTV for what's in their minds. We assume both guys are liars, or maybe both saying the truth. Let's just continue a minute and then. Zog the Gemara, no. Omar Ravuna says Ravuna. So I didn't read the Rashi at the end. Fine. The Omar Ravuna, the Omar shevua sheyesh li ba, ve'lo b'pochos mechetzio. That's it. The guy has to say shevua sheyesh li ba. I swear I have something in it, and that something is no less than half. Oh, get it? In other words, we put you into being one of the shareholders. I swear I have chelik in it. You can't run into your lay, into your nothing comfort zone. Swear you have a part, and swear that this part is no less than half. Meaning half. Right? Now, we still can ask the question why we're being so cumbersome. That's discussed later. Frag the Gemara, maybe now you're happy, Alan. Meaning, why can both sides say, I swear it's all mine? Because that's what they said. Each one says it's all mine, right? Now, if you don't believe bananas from the previous sugya, then we believe we can take the risk of making people lie. It's their fault. Maybe lie, maybe a lie. Maybe we want to deter him. So both sides, by the way, that's what Tosfos says, both sides should say, it's all mine. Be a man. Swear and say, kula shali. And says the Gemara, no. Kula. Are we really going to give him the end? The whole thing at the end? Yeah, we're not going to give the whole thing. You can look in Rashi if you want, a good few lines below where we are. It's a laz to Beis Din. Beis Din make both sides nishba kula. Well, everybody knows the Mishnah that each one would take only half. So Beis Din make him be nishba. It don't follow the protocol. It's as if Beis Din are not consistent. Beis Din saying, swear it's all yours. Swear it's all yours. Okay, you both take half. So why do you tell me to swear it's all mine? You're not being consistent. But maybe they won't. Maybe they won't be deterred. You have to take it into consideration also. I know, I hear you, very nice, but maybe not. Frag the Gemara, my question, if we already decided that he said, I swear I have part in it, and that part is no less than half. So just say, I'm nishba, that I have a half, right? Why can't you talk normal? Just say, I'm nishba, I have a half. Why? I'm nishba, I have in it, and that what I have is no less than half. Just say, I have half, finished. Answers Gemara, no. That's inconsistent with his own claim. Merala dibure. Ay. He's merala dibure. No, he's ruining his own claim. He came to Beis Din claiming how much? I have the whole thing. So he can't be mashbi'ayim and say, I only have half, because then he's contradicting himself. We're trying to run between the drops over here, to walk between the drops and the eggshells, because his claim is everything, and we want him to be nishba something would befit his version. On the other hand, we know we're not going to give him half. If we follow the protocol and both sides will be nishba, Shlomo, then enechanami, they'll both get half and not whole. So we're trying to go between the drops here. So that's why it says, I have no less than half. So now also he's not consistent with his speech. He said, Kulo Shali, and he swears, I have in it no less than half. So he's not nishba kula. So what did you gain over here? Answers the Gemara, and that's the final answer. Here we come to the crescendo, to the top. The Omar, he says like this, Kula Shali. He's not saying it, but that's embedded in his words. Really, it's all mine. You want to hear my version? It's really all mine. The guy next is standing on the other side of the talis. He's a horrible liar. According to you people, shevua sheyesh li ba, which means like this. He says, listen to the lashon. I have in it, I don't have in it less then half. That's a genius lashon. Why? If I say in English, I would call it, I have in it, and I have in it at least half. When you say at least half, what does it mean? Half or more. I have at least half. That's a word in English to describe the Mishnah. If they were English speakers and I was a Dayan, although I don't have the Yonus, yeah, that's what I would have told them. Swear you have in it, and you have at least half. Yeah, why? At least means maybe more.
Preempted that
Rock
last
for a
statement, the first statement.
Also, one second. Let me, and then you'll talk. At least meaning, first of all, I have, so you can't say really I have zero, and the whole thing is one big joke. Out of that. Now, you have in it how much? At least half. When you say at least, what do you mean? Maybe more, right? So mitzad echad, he's not denying or contradicting his version. He says the whole thing. I have at least half. Really, I have 60, 70, 80, 90, 99, 100%, if you ask me. This guy is a liar standing next to me. I have a liar standing here, and the three Dayanim stroking the beards and believing him maybe. Mimela, I say at least half because I know I'm going to get half. They say, I say whole. They say half. And I say at least half. Yes? No? Good? Happy? What's your question or comment? I'm listening. You good? No? Why not? No. I think it's a magic lesson. What? Exactly. I really think I have the whole thing because unfortunately I'm faced by liars from all over. And I know at the end of the day, the prodigal of Beis Din, which they also don't look like clowns, but having different voices here, half should stay half. I'm forced to say at least half. I'm not contradicting my version, which is whole, but I'm also playing into the hands of Beis Din, which say half. That's called at least half. That's a beautiful solution. Both. Absolutely. So if that's the halacha, they split it in the middle because they both say at least half. Unless, Shlomo's script is also very nice. If one of them breaks down in tears and says, I lied, and the other one, Nishba Kula Shali, the other one is not Nishba, he doesn't have to break in tears, but he says, I'm not Nishba, then what? The Nishba will take it all. That's also a nice solution. He'll take home. He'll tell his wife, I have a new scarf for you, darling, for very nice. Okay? Good. Sorry, Rabbi, it's me. Better?
First guy says half is mine. And now in my mind, I think the whole thing is mine. I'm going to know that the basin is going to say Yachloku. So instead. Both sides are tofus. The fact that they hold it is like a non-sadi, it's like edus, that each one of them holds at least half, should get a half. If so, shvua zulama, why do we need a shvua? In other words, we have chazaka. A chazaka is good. Chazaka is as good as edim and non-sadi, even like Heilach, we said maybe before. If so, bevakasha, why do we need a shvua at all? As we said before in Daf Gimel, shvua zu tekonos chachomimi. Tekonos chachomim saw that people don't tend to be super honest, and therefore chachomim made it takona, shelo yeh kol echad ve'echad hoylech b'toykef b'taliso shel chaveroi. People should not go and attack and charge and just grab the talis of their friend's shoulder. Oh, Shabbos. You ever had loy tachmod and the guy's beautiful atoro? He has a nice talis to the beautiful atoro. Looks like it was 1,000 shekels. After Shachris in the corner of the street, you'll grab half and say it's mine and take it to Beis Din on Sunday. You'll be holding it the entire Shabbos, half, both of you, and take it to Beis Din on Sunday. They sit on Sunday too, not just Monday. So the oimer shaliyu, when you say it's mine, because we suspect people to abuse the law, the halacha of chazaka, the halacha of like Anan Saadi, we're scared people will use it the wrong way, will attack their friend's talis, we make the takana. The Gemara, and by the way, was that agreed upon everyone? No. Rabbi Chia said why? Rabbi Chia said a different reason. Rabbi Chia said, true, it's a takana d'Rabbanan, we said at the end, but there's also the edim involved. Remember? In other words, if we say that the two hands are like two edim, remember, then we have a tzad to say, midoraisa, that when you have two edim made that half is yours, and he says nothing is yours, then you have to take shevua. When it's mutual, there's no shevua. Rabbanan established a shvua of edim even when it's mutual with the Rabbanan because shola kol echad ve'echad toikef v'tlisu shel chaveru. Frag the Gemara v'neim amig dechoshid amoy dechoshid nami yeshvuasa. Oh, if you tell me that you are really scared here, you're really concerned, the one guy is a thief. You're actually suspecting here midor Rabbanan that Mr. Reuven or Shimon or somebody here actually grabbed it off his friend's mamish ganav la'oyer yoim. Mamish ganav like that. Aren't you scared? Choshit nami. He should also be suspected to make a false oath. Why do you think that such a person, such a guy, would be deterred by making a shvua sheker? He's mamish ganav. Let me preface the question. There's a halacha. It's all over Shulchan Aruch in Lamed Daled, in Choshen Mishpat Siman Lamed Daled. People who are Rishoim, people who are Rosha, cannot give edus. A person who shaves betar, he shaves the wrong way. A person who watches the wrong kind of movies, whatever. A person who's mamish b'meizi does something terrible, which is not mikubal in his area. Keneged the Torah is possible edus. And similar to that, although not exactly the same, we'll see a Tosfos today. A person who's a liar, or a mamish, a ganav mamish, such a person should not take shvua either. I don't believe him that his shvua is right. So how does that help you to impose the shvua on him? Lo answers the Gemara, as we said many times before. Lo aminan migu de choshed de mamayna choshed de shvua. Says Rashi, no. In other words, Rashi says that in people's minds, really, shvua is the worse isser than stealing. Interesting. Rashi says, "B'das b'nei odom," meaning it's not necessarily worse, but people view it that way. People view shvua sheker. Open Sefer Torah with Aron Kodesh and say shvua. Says Tosfos. I hope to see the Tosfos later. The world shook when Hashem said, that you can't be nishma l'sheker. In the beginning of the Sefer Dibros, and after but he says shmi l'shav. Yeah, such a thing. Even a ganav would, say hands off. That's what we assume. Yeah, that's the answer. And we're going to elaborate on that. I want to see Tosfos inside. If you don't say that, if you think that every person who's suspected to lie is also suspected to take a shvua sheker, then the whole shvua doesn't work. Hi, the Omer Rachmano. That the Torah said, Moide b'miktzah satayna yishova. What's the most classical shvua of the Torah? We said there are 3 cases in the Torah where a person has to take shvua. Shma, shin, mem, ayin. What's shin? Shin, mem, ayin. Shin is shvuas. What is shoimrim? Shvuas shoimrim. Mem is moide b'miktzas, and ayin eid echod. Take the moide b'miktzas. The second one, moide b'miktzas. Moide b'miktzas. How does he take shvua? Yeah, I say you owe me $1,000. He says, actually 500. So I'm choshed 500. He's playing games with me. I'm choshed that he's a liar and keeps my money against my will, which I call theft. And now we make him take a shvua. If you think that every liar would not be deterred by shvua, so why did the Torah establish shvua? It's a Torah, not me, right? You're asking Rabbi Yochanan the Rabbanon, what's the whole logic of shvua from the Torah to begin with, right? Doesn't make sense, right? According to your logic, I would say migo, by the way, means sins. Migo doesn't always mean something good, yeah? Migo means sins. He's suspected to lie about money. He'll also lie regarding the shvua. Elamai, I say, must be no. Must be. People would not sink that low, would not stoop that low. The assumption of the Heilige Torah of Hashem himself is many people would play games and lie and cheat and steal. But to be nishbel sheker, they would stop at red light. At that point, that's the logic of the Torah. Says Rabbi Yochanan, if it's logical for the Torah, it's logical for me too, And I'm scared. Yeah, the guy grabbed the talis. He wanted to make a quick buck. He really likes that silver Torah. The entire Shachris and Musaf, he was fantasizing about these beautiful talis. Yeah, now he wants to grab it. It doesn't mean he's going to be nishbal sheker. He's still, that would deter him. Now, I'm itching to look at Tosfos, but I would keep the Tosfos for later. But this time, many times I say we'll see the Tosfos, but then I don't. This time we will. Bli neder at 10:20. If whatever we're holding, we have to see this beautiful Yesod Tosfos. In any event, the Gemara now rejects what we just said. Says the Gemara, it's not the same. The case of the person who's moide b'miktzas, which the Torah says has to be nishba, is not the same as the guy who grabs the talis from his friend. Why? Over there, in the case of moide b'miktzas, ishtamuti ka nishtamet lei ke de Rabba, which means, remember Rabba? Rabba is the one who told us. Rabba gave us a very good class in psychology. What did Rabba say? What's the logic of the moed b'miktzas, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. That's first. I'm repeating, I'm reviewing Rabbah. This Rabbah is very, very essential on both sides. Rabbah said as follows. This person is not mamish a thief. He's a liar, but not a thief. What's his logic? What does he want to do? It's called in English, l'arviach zman. That's what we say it in English. In English, you don't say to buy time, you say to gain time. That's what we say. This person borrowed money, right? He's entitled to use the money. He used the money for shopping, for something, for this. The money, he didn't yet get his monthly salary. So he didn't yet get back into his account, and he wants to buy time. That's what's moed b'miktzas, right? He's lying because he wants to give some now, 50. The other 50 he'll give you on the 20th of August, when he's going to get his next salary. So Lemaisa, not a nice guy, no shidduch for my daughter with this one, but Lemaisa, he's not mamish stealing. He's not stealing. That's what Rabbah said. Okay? Vashenkin, our guy, he's suspected to steal. You're telling me take a shevua because I'm scared the guy actually, with his own bare hands, after Musaf and Shabbos, in whichever shul, took and grabbed it. That guy, at least what you suspect him to do, we don't know he did it. We suspect him of that. That's outright theft, like like in the books. Then it's much worse than the guy of the moed b'miktzas who's fidgeting. And all we want to do, by the way, there by shevua, is to pressurize him to pay now. Get what I'm saying? He wants to buy time illegally. We say, swear now. Since he's not going to be nishba l'shekach, he's not a liar. He's not a ganev. Mimela, won't be nishba, and he'll break down. He'll pay everything now. Take a loan and break. 1 second. I'll be soon. Teda. You know what Teda means? Teda means I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. The Omer of Idi Baravi and Omer of Chizda. A koifer b'milveh, a person who denies milveh. A person who denies the milveh, which means, let's say, I say to Yitzchak, you owe me 1,000. Yeah, it will never happen with you. Chas v'shalom. I say to the mysterious Chaim Yankel, you owe me $1,000. Chaim Yankel says, I don't owe you anything. And 2 Eidim come and say Chaim Yankel owes. Chaim Yankel actually borrowed money from Akiva, $1,000 a month ago. We saw that. This Chaim Yankel, what a liar. Mamish, he lied against Eidim. Kosher le'edus. Wow. He's still kosher le'edus. Wow, is kosher le'edus. Why is it kosher le'edus? Chaim Yankel is a liar. Again, you know who not to offer him as a shidduch. However, Chaim Yankel is not necessarily a thief. Milveh is something that was given to him to use up, as we just explained. Why is he saying he doesn't have it? He doesn't have it yet, we assume. So although, we, at the end of the day, will make him pay the 1,000 right now. They're aiding against him. But we won't label him as the thief mamish. We can't say he's a thief. He's fidgeting, he's dodging, you say dodging in American English? To dodge, it's British. Yeah, he dodges, he wants to move, he will pay with 1,000 when he gets his next salary or when he finishes marrying off his 10th daughter. But the mice is not mamish, a thief b'yadayim that we know he's a thief. So still down the kaf's chus. Mimela here too, moed b'miktzas is the same. He is just buying time. We don't know that he's mamish a thief. Bepikodon, however, continues the same statement of Chizda. Bepikodon, if I say, hi, my uncle, you have my $2,000 which are deposited by you, and you're a good gemacher, you're a banker, something like that. And it says, no, nothing. And the Eidim actually say, we saw the 2,000 by him. Then posula Eidus. Why? Because there you can't say, even if they didn't say I spoke too quickly, but I said is the hemshech of the Gemara. The Eidim saw me giving him 2,000, the Pikodin. I entrust it in your hands, in your trustworthy hand, or so I thought. And what? And he lied about those 2,000, then what happens? Then he's posuladus. Why? The difference is clear. The 2,000 deposited, you're not supposed to touch. There's no justification. He used them for something, and he's hoping to get it. He's not supposed to, by the way, people got confused. I didn't mean not to touch it with your finger. I meant you're not supposed to use it, not even one dime out of the 2,000. And if you say you don't have it, there's no, at this moment, the Gemara thinks there's no dan l'kaf schus. Therefore, there he's mamash a thief. Yeah, he's mamash not. Mashenkin by milveh, he's not a thief. He's not the most honest guy in the world. He's not a thief because maybe he's supposed to use the 2,000 for his own needs. He didn't yet get it back. He hopes to get it back. Mimela, he's lying a white lie in order to manage the inyanim, not so kosher. So we force a shevua. So far, by the way, where are we holding in the Gemara? We did not prove either way. We did not prove that that Choshid Mamoino is Choshid Shvuasa or not Choshid Shvuasa. But that's a question we have. A person who is suspected to what? To actually steal. We suspect that he stole. We don't know. We suspect. I'm preparing you for Tosis. In other words, if I'm right and I'm the lawyer of the plaintiff, I suspect this guy's mamish what? Mamish lying. So it depends. If he's mamish stealing, in other words, in my version, this person has pikodon, and he says, I have no pikodon, and then I bring to aid him pikodon. It's mamish a thief, no question. Posel edus. Is disqualified from edus. Why? It says the edus al toshes yodcho imed chomas or eid rosho. You can't have a rosho as an aid, and of course, he's not reliable for a shevua. Mashe'ein ken, the person whom I suspect that what? Now, the other guy who is a white liar, he's fidgeting, he's trying. For sure, I can make him take a shevua. I should make him take a shevua. Why? He's buying time. I'm not even according to what I say. Maybe it's true that he borrowed money. Doesn't mean that he's a thief. He wants to give it back, but he's lying because he wants it on his own terms. The question is, which still remains a question, what would be the halacha if the person is, yes, suspected to be what? To be mishaker and steal, but we don't know that he stole. He's choshid amamoino. He's suspected to be a thief. And if I'm right, then he has no other way to explain himself. But we don't yet know that. Is he possible shevua? Yes or no? That's still the question. Yes, Ellen, you were very, very patient. So I want to hear every word you have to say. And then we'll see a little bit of Gemara, then Tosfos. Yes, I'm listening to you. Yeah. Now, frag the Gemara. Elaho de Tani Rami Bar Chama. We just established again. Let's get the story right. A person who has pikodon, if I deposited by you, I did not lend you candlesticks or money or cows, as we'll see, and you say, no, I don't have them. And now what Adim are there to prove that you do have them, right? Or at least your koifer, you highly suspected to be a liar and a thief. Yeah, because this is not something you're supposed to use and bring back eventually. Then you're choshud amamayno and choshud shvuasa, and then shvua won't help you. And you become not, and even not even. Koshik and edus, to be an aid in someone's daughter's wedding in the foreseeable future, you won't be able to be. You won't be able to be an aid. Why? You choshid amamayno, therefore you can't be an aid, you can't be a witness anymore in Beis Din. Frag the Gemara about a case which we recently saw, and that's when I used the whiteboard for the first time. The Tani Rami Bar Chama. I'm sorry, no time today for the whiteboard. Tani Rami Bar Chama. Arba shoymrin tzrichin kfir b'miktzas v'do b'miktzas. Yeah, remember those? The 4 shoymrim, they need what? How many shvuas do they take? Let's say you are confronting your shoymer. No, give me one. Shoymer, what? Sagar. We go with you, Jeff, all the way. The Shomer Socher says, Oines. You know, that cow, you gave me 3 cows. Soon we'll see why 3. One of those cows, a lion came. You think I can confront lions? A lion came. 2 lions came. It was in Africa, in South Africa, in Kruger Park. 2 lions came and they ate the cow. How can I control them? Oines. So what do we tell the guy? Oh, you're potter, but take a shevua. That shevua is mentioned together in the same parsha in the Torah, together with another shevua d'oraisa called Moide b'miktzas, which I don't have to explain to you anymore. Says Rami Bar Chama, since these 2 shvuas are, as we say in our scrollies, juxtaposed, they mentioned together, the shvua of shoymrim, of it was out of my control, so I'm potter, has to be always and only conditional together, also with the shvua of Moide b'miktzas. The shomer also has to be nishba, what? That there were 2 cows besides the one of Oines. And the Balabais claims, where are my 3 cows? One of them, the lion ate out of my control. And the other 2, moide b'miktzas. 1 you never gave me, and 1, here it is, or 1 died b'pshia. One of them I have, 1 I don't have. So he has 2 factors together. He's nishba on his high level of shmira and out of his control events. And regarding the other 2, moide b'miktzas. Right? Yes, so he says these four Shemachina Vashon, Nusasocha Vasoichel. Right, Gemara, wait a second. What is this guy? Shomer of the cow. Shomer of the cow. Is he supposed to what? To use the cows for himself? No. So when he says I'm kaifer, the cow is not here at all. If he's lying, then he's a ganav. There's no other way, right? If the balabais is right, he gave him 3 cows, and now how many are there? Only one. One you never gave me, and one, I'm so sorry, I'm nishba that the lion came. But 1 cow you completely deny. So if I'm right, balabais, and you're the liar, there's at least 50% chance you're not only a liar, you're also a thief. Because the cow, you're not supposed to lend to other people and wait for money and fidget around for time and buy time. No, those start buying time, shmying time is by a lender, a borrower, which is allowed to use the money up until a certain point. But a shomer is not. If so, are you telling me that this guy is nishba on the other cow that he was eaten by a lion, and we believe him is choshid shvua, because at least 50% of the chance, again, we don't know he's a liar, but he's suspected to be a liar. And a ganav, not just a liar, suspected to be a ganav because I gave him a cow and he claims he doesn't have it. How do you believe him over there? I thought that by Pikodon, we're not down the kav schuz. We don't give him leeway and room to move. And says the Gemara, no. Osam nami, ishtamuti kamishtamit. Over there too, even by Pikodon, there is a chance that the person is mishtamet, that the person is really just evading and being evasive, because sometimes objects get lost or get stolen, and he hopes to get them back. Look what the Gemara says. Soval, he thinks, you know why he's lying? He really knows that there was a thief. Shomer Sochor, as Jeff said, it's a Shomer Sochor, and he's Chayiv Begneva. He says, I hope I find the thief and I'll catch him, I'll catch the cow and bring him back to the legal owner. So for now, he prefers to lie rather than to say, I'm a ganev and be chayiv to pay right now. Inami, or alternatively, I'll find it in the grazing area of my sinale, which means makes a lot of sense. A pikodon sometimes gets lost. Sometimes a pikodon gets lost or stolen. So when I stay and I say to the other guy, no, really, you did not give me anything. Even if 2 edim are made that I was given the pikodon, it doesn't mean that I'm a liar. Maybe I lost it or it got stolen, and I'm still in the process of getting it. And instead of being truthful and saying lost or stolen, which means I'll have to pay right away, I prefer to lie until I find the object or I find the theft. If so, so why did you say the other way? We just said a minute ago, a person who denies the pikodon is poseledus. Why? Why? Why don't you say is mishtamit? Sova ad b'chashno mashkachnale. I will look for it b'chashna and I'll find it. Right? So, but pikodon, so make up your mind. The Gemara contradicts itself. One place the Gemara says koifer b'pikodon is a thief, posel edus and everything. The other time we say no, he lost it, got stolen, He's buying time. He wants to regain the pikodon, then he'll give it to you. Says the Gemara, very easy. You know when it's the one and only time we really done the kaf choivo and we say that he's posel edus, the one who denies the pikodon. Kigon the asu sahadi came edim as hidube. You know what they testified? The edim are made that at the time when he spoke in Beis Din, 9:45 Monday morning, he stood in Beis Din and he said, I don't have in my house the 2,000. They're made. They saw at that very moment, they saw the 2,000 in his house, and they know that he knows about it. It's in his top table, and he knows mamish where it is. There's no way to move over there, nowhere to run. Such a case, we know he's a ganev. If you know he's a ganev 100%, then we say it's choshud amamoina, big time choshud, more than choshud, and then he's posel edus, posel shvu, posel to anything. Inami, alternatively, they see that it's in his hands. He's standing in Beis Din with one hand behind his back, and the edim see that he has the money behind his back while he's being nishba. Stupid criminal. Why is it really important for the Gemara to portray the picture of such an idiot? Says the Ritva, a very geoinish thing. The Ritva says a genius thing. Says the Ritva as follows. In the case of a Pikodon, you say, I don't have 2,000, and the guy has 2,000 in his back pocket, he's mamish a liar and a thief. If it's milveh, even then we don't think he's a thief. Why? Why? He says, I don't have to, what? Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Because over there, even if he has the 2,000 in his pocket and says he doesn't have, not the most honest guy in the world, he's not a Musar learner, but he's not a thief. He wants to use it, and he's allowed to. He still wants to use that 2,000 because it's really his, wasn't yet given to the owner. As long as it's by me, they're still considered mine and not yours by Elvo. That's why. Unfortunately, we don't have time for Tosfos. You know what? Tomorrow we're going to do something very innovative. Tomorrow we will start with the Tosfos. I'm not going to give up on this Tosfos. Tosfos, the Choshid Amamoino, is the fourth Tosfos in the page, 1, 2, 3, 4. I think starts the Choshid Amamoino. And Tosfos explains very well the whole mechanism of don't we suspect people about lying, stealing, and all that. Tosfos will give a very clear picture of this whole matter. Be'ezus Hashem, we'll be learning it better tomorrow. Have a terrific week. I hope on Tuesday Rav Berman will be here, not me. And if not, then I'll be here. Thank you very much. Hatzlacha. Have a great day. Hatzlacha, Shavua Tov, and welcome back again to everybody that is back.